Hello and welcome to Yarn ChickHen, Vlogmas Day 6 with Mrs. T and friends. I'm Mrs. T, and of course I've got my notes here so that I don't forget to tell you anything. The first thing I'd like to say is, as you can probably tell, it's actually probably when you're watching this, December 7th, not December 6th. What? What's going on? How can you be doing Vlogmas Day 6 if it's December 7th? Well, that's an interesting story. What we have found is that we had technical difficulties trying to upload the video from the 5th, and we've decided that all those people who put their videos up a day late, in other words, they record their videos on the 1st and then they release their day 1 on day 2, have a lot of sense in them, because you never know what's going to happen when you're trying to upload something or trying to edit something or anything. And so we were trying to upload and it was taking ages. All I did was double the video by, instead of 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and it took 3 times longer. Actually, it took a lot more than 3 times longer, but it took forever. By the time it was uploaded, we were asleep. And then we got up, and then that's when Mr. T found that it hadn't actually finished uploading. So we had to wait for it to actually finish uploading, and then that's why it was posted on the 6th instead of the 5th. Not for lack of trying, mind you, but that's just the way it went. So you can just expect that we're going to be a day behind when we're doing the Vlogmas, because that just gives us an extra cushion with this uploading and all the technical difficulties and stuff. Because, you know, this doing it every day, it's a little more hectic, I think, than when you've got 3 or 4 days, or even if you're you put one out weekly, gives you a bit of time. But this every day, it's, you know, not happening. So we will be continuing to do it, but we will be a day late. Also, it's time for the word of the day. I know. My husband won out, and he gets his word of the day. Right, Mr. T?
Yes.
So, the word of the day is Manky. Would you care to explain to us, Mr. T, what Manky means, and can you say it with your Scottishness?
Manky basically means something dirty. So if you've got a pair of old trainers or sneakers, I think you say in your country, they could be manky. They need to go into the wash. It also can mean old or slightly broken. So you might have a manky chair, which if you shit it, should
Bleep!
bleep bleep. Which if you sit in it, it might shuggle. The chair might shuggle, be rickety. It's a manky chair. There you go. That's manky.
The word of the day. And of course, I've got my show notes, so you will see me refer to them, because this way it's a lot less likely that I'll forget something. And we're a bit late filming today, actually, because we received our Christmas delivery for our groceries for Christmas. Now, some of the fresher things we didn't get, but we got most of the other things that either go in the freezer or come in a can, or whatever you want to say. Boxes, things you have to mix up. So we got that, and that got me thinking about, there's only 18 and a half shopping days until Christmas. Now, when you see this, there'll probably be 17 and a half days. But it's like, whoa, where did all the shopping days go? And it also makes you think the differences that we have in the USA to the UK. Because now, as far as I'm aware, it's still the same. It could have changed. It's been nearly 30 years since I've lived there. But I remember we decorated for Christmas the day after Thanksgiving. I think most people still do. I think my mother does, and my sisters. And they decorate for Christmas then. But in Scotland, usually it's the 1st of December. They don't decorate quite as wild as we do in the United States, But there are some houses that do, and when they do, they set it all up with music and everything. They run it for about 3 or 4 hours, then they turn it off. It's not something that they leave on all night or anything like that. It's more for a little bit of a show, and it's usually maybe one or two houses on the block. But for the most part, the decorations are on the inside. Whereas in America, a lot of the decorations are on the inside, but they also decorate the outside of the house a lot. And I keep looking at this light over here, and it's blinding me. And it's like I can't help but look at it. No, it's all right, Mr. T. It's not your fault. I don't know why I'm looking at it today, but blinding myself. So that's one of the differences. I mean, there's many, many differences, but some of the more big differences, that's one of the bigger differences. And the other big difference would be that in the UK and in Scotland, they celebrate Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas Day. And it used to be, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why it's called Boxing Day. It used to be when there were servants, of course, they were serving on Christmas Day. So they got the following day off as their holiday. And the employers a lot of the time would give them boxes. They'd have food, possibly presents, possibly money. But the common term was boxing. Even if it was money, cash in hand, it wasn't in a box. It was still considered Boxing Day. But also, it's the day of St. Stephen's. It's St. Stephen's Day. And so a lot of the time there's the alms boxes for the poor, and then they would get the money and then they would help the poor and probably get through the winter, basically. And so it's called Boxing Day for that. But it's also famously known for the Boxing Day sales. So it's the after Christmas sales on Boxing Day, which would be the equivalent to Black Friday in America. Although I have noticed the last 10 to 12 years, Black Friday has creeped into the UK. So they have Black Friday the day after Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, I like to say, because there are two Thanksgivings, because Canadians, they celebrate Thanksgiving, I think, back a little further in October. I'm not entirely sure the day, but American Thanksgiving has the Black Friday the next day, and it's creeped in here. So now the UK have Black Friday, but they still have Boxing Day sales. So those are the two differences that I find are a little bit odd. The reason I say this is that these are the differences is because in America itself, there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of things that people say, oh, we do this, all Americans do this. And there's some of the things that's, no, not all Americans do that, no. So each state is sometimes an entity unto its own. And they think everybody else does what they do, but they don't. So just because you're American and you think everybody does it, be careful, because probably not. Especially if it's an odd one. You might not think it's odd, but the rest of us will be like, whoa. So that's why I went with those, because those are quite general. The general things in America and the general things here. And let me see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, yes, we can't forget the whole reason why I decided this was a really good idea is my knit along with my Buttercup Miniatures Advent. It's not actually a calendar, but it is sort of a calendar because I'm doing it from home myself. And so what we'll do is I'll have Mr. T, and hopefully Mr. T will watch the video before he starts inserting things, so that way when I say he's going to insert something, I'm not talking to dead air. And then at the end, have a little sorry at the top. So if he can insert the photo now. And that's the progress I have, because I can't really show it live anymore and hold it up to you, because at the moment I'm doing color work and there's just too many balls of yarn hanging from it, and that is not something that is an innuendo, okay? So don't go there. But there's too much yarn hanging off the piece, and it's such a tiny little piece. I don't want to pull stitches out or anything like that, so I won't be able to until we get onto a different like the sleeves or the back. I won't be able to show it live anymore because I could cause chaos, and then I'll not be happy because they're teeny tiny stitches, and if I have to pick them up, this could be slightly of a bit of a nightmare. I'll probably just frog the whole thing and start over. So, but that's going really well because I'm 3/4 of the way through day 4. Like I said, I've started the color work, so I'm trying to be very careful because it's quite tiny, and I don't want to make the stitches too small, and I don't want to make them too loose. And if you've ever done color work with knitting, you'll know what I mean. It's for me, I'm not used to it being so tiny. I'm trying to make sure I've got the gauge right. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Is there anything you would like to say, Mr. T?
Not today.
Not
No.
today? No, just your Sugar. I mean, just your Manky.
Manky Sugar.
Manky and Sugarlin. So I would like to say a special hello to my mother and my sisters because they've been watching from day 1 and their feedback has been really, really good, and it's helped us with a lot of the things that we may not have noticed ourselves, but from a different perspective they have. So I'm going to say hello to Mama-san, Auntie D, and Birdie. So thank you all for your help and your support. I really appreciate it, and so does Mr. T. Also, I'd like to thank all my subscribers, and I would like to ask anybody who's watching to please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.